You love your new house, your new yard. Oh, is that the air conditioning? Scared you. It's okay. It's okay. Good morning, everybody. Meet my new garden buddy, Rosie. We adopted Rosie a few days ago. We got home from Smith Mountain Lake at my dad's and literally turned around and went to get Rosie. We had always said that we were not going to get a dog, but I guess when you almost lose your finger, you need a little bit of therapy. My daughter Sadie has wanted a dog for forever. She is a huge dog lover. So we just decided to take the leap, and we looked online and we were trying to find a small dog, something that would be lovable and cuddly and just really good with our family. And we finally landed across Rosie here. She is a 4-year-old Havapoo. She is the sweetest thing ever. She was a breeding dog, so she doesn't really know too many commands yet. She is potty trained, which is great, but she has just really been so cuddly, and she just has been a great little addition to our family. So you will see her in many videos coming up. She is just adorable, aren't you? I am really in love with her. She is just such a good little buddy. So just bringing me a lot of joy amongst some difficult times. But yeah, so today I'm gonna let her down, let her go kind of run. Go ahead. She's been enjoying, oh, probably shouldn't wear white shorts with her though. She's been enjoying exploring all of my flowers and the gardens, and she is small enough that she really doesn't damage too many things. So I can let her kind of roam freely and go in and out of the flower beds without too much damage going on. But today I thought that I would just walk you around. There are some really pretty things, specifically to my right. I have some beautiful sweet peas growing. I am so excited because I have never been able to get my sweet peas to grow. The rabbits have always gotten them, and I have always tried to direct sow my sweet peas, but they just have never taken off. So this year I sowed my sweet peas using the winter sowing method. Back in March, I put them in milk jugs and they took off. They did beautifully, and right now they are looking so gorgeous. So I definitely want to show you my sweet peas before it gets, actually it has been extremely hot, very, very, very hot, which I know that a lot of you have been dealing with as well. And I am out here fairly early in the morning, so it is still tolerable out here. It is probably in the 70s right now. It's actually really pleasant. But last week was really brutal. It was really hot in Virginia where I was. It was really hot up here where some of you are. And just some of the things I think have struggled a little bit, but overall, my sweet peas in particular are doing really well. They do not like the heat typically, so I'm really surprised that they're doing as well as they are. So I definitely want to show you those before they completely fizzle out, and just kind of showing you what things look like after that heat wave. I had my husband here. He did the watering for me while I was gone, and I am happy to say that I don't think I lost anything. He did an awesome job. I did have a little bit of a casualty with my elephant ears, but they're going to bounce back. They're going to be fine. I forgot to tell him to keep an eye on those, but they are still alive, so they're going to do good. The rabbits have gotten some of my zinnias that I newly planted, so I am going to have to direct seed some zinnias, and I have some that I already started from seed that I will add in. So this week I really want to get to some of that direct sowing that I need to do. I have a few more plants that I need to get in the ground, specifically my purple hyacinth bean vines. Just kind of wrap things up. We are going to be going away again in a few weeks, so I want to make sure that things have a chance to get established before we take off again. So that is kind of what my upcoming week is going to look like. I think I've talked long enough, so let's get to the garden tour. All right, I am gonna bring you over this way to give you a glimpse at my sweet peas. They are so beautiful. I'm so excited that I finally got them to grow. Oh my word. This is the Mammoth Choice salmon cream variety. And then I also had a mixed variety of Mammoth Choice, which I think was like pinks and purples and I think even some reds. I don't see any reds right now, but they have just taken off. That winter sowing method definitely did the trick for me, for sure. And I love the colors against this green obelisk. I think that they go so beautifully together. There's another Mammoth Choice salmon cream back in there. And they smell so good. Just so pretty. I have not cut any yet, which I probably should to make a little bouquet, but I just love how they look on the obelisk. I don't even want to cut them. So super, super pretty. And then everything else is really starting to take off. My Mystic Spires Blue Salvia is huge, and the pollinators, the bees, are absolutely loving it. The bees just cover this salvia all season long up until the first frost. It is definitely a pollinator magnet. Sometimes I see hummingbirds on them. Super, super pretty. And looks like my hollyhocks back there that I planted are doing okay, not looking the greatest, but it seems like they're taking off. And then that's a desert sunflower that is getting taller. And a Melina Fleur Dahlia that is looking good. That one was the one that was struggling a little bit after I planted it, but it is definitely bouncing back. And my zinnias are looking really nice. I lost one right in there, but I think all of the other zinnias have survived. This whole border will just be filled with zinnias. That is my hope, at least. Right behind the boxwood. I'm using my selfie stick today to help me to hold my camera better. So I'm sorry if it gets a little bit shaky. I'm still getting used to using this stick rather than holding my phone, but I'm trying to figure out ways to film in a way that is a little bit smoother. Ooh, there's a big bird right behind me, without shaking too much with one hand. This is another Melina Fleur Dahlia right back in there, and some more hollyhocks and some sunflowers that are beginning to take off as well. This patch of salvia is huge. The other side I had lost one, so I had to put in a new one, but this side they all survived, and they must be almost 5 feet tall. They are so big, so beautiful, along with my Limetta hydrangea. Guys, I just love, I think this might be one of my favorite hydrangeas. It is so pretty and so prolific. It does not flop, has nice, strong, sturdy stems, and then it turns a beautiful kind of limey green color as the season goes on. But it is just stunning. And I love the backdrop. If you can see through this little opening here, the Annabelle hydrangeas in the background there. I just love looking at that view with these hydrangeas in the foreground. I think it's so pretty. Bringing you around my crepe myrtle. My coleus are really beginning to take off. I think that they are really going to do the trick. I just wanted something a little bit taller that would get taller than my boxwood hedge. I think they're already getting taller, and they're going to really fill out this little space in here very nicely and provide a nice contrasting color to the green on the boxwood and the green leaf on my crepe myrtle here. Super pretty. And this is another Limetta hydrangea. This isn't quite as big as the other side, but still gorgeous. Very, very prolific. My denim and lace Russian sage is absolutely beautiful right now. It is in full bloom. I'm gonna try to get around these chairs here. Another pollinator magnet. This is a proven winner's variety that stays on the smaller side, does not get out of control. You can see our grass has turned a nice brown crispy color from all of the heat and lack of rain again. And then this area is where I had planted a ton of zinnia seeds, and they are coming up, but they did not get dispersed evenly. So I'm gonna have to go in and maybe do a little bit of editing, do a little bit of digging, and just kind of maybe disperse these a little bit more evenly throughout this bed. So I may try to do that this week as well. But I also have these raspberry ripples that are planted along the border edge here. They look more like this with kind of a more pointy leaf than the, I think this is the Oklahoma mix and maybe Benary's Giant. They have more of a rounded leaf, but these raspberry ripples are already starting to take off and get established really nicely in here. And I have this Thomas Edison and Creme de Cassis Dahlia right there. So lots of things happening in here. Just a little bit of editing that needs to take place, but I think it's gonna be really, really pretty. Let's take a walk over here and see what's happening over in my main border here. Over here next to the D-rung boxwood, I had planted some Magellan zinnias that stay on the shorter side in the border. And some of them have taken off, but some of them have been eaten down by the rabbits. So that kind of stinks, but I do have more in the wings that are growing from seeds. So I will just replace some of those with what I have growing up on my patio. And then I have some cosmos that, oh no, it looks like they got, a little bit decimated. That stinks. This was the apricota cosmos. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but I might need to add in some more cosmos. And then I have this anemone that is looking a little sad. I transplanted this and it's really yellowing, but I think that it should be fine. Next year it'll come back really nice for me. That's the Fall in Love Sweetly anemone. And this dahlia, this is an HS State dahlia, is really taking off, looking beautiful, not yet flowering. Right in front of this Limelight Prime hydrangea, you can see is starting to get some buds. This hydrangea looks a little bit chlorotic to me, which is what, like, I don't know if you can see the leaves right here are getting a little bit yellow. So that's often a sign of lack of iron. So I can go in and maybe give that some iron tone. I like to use the Spoma brand variety of iron. My lily, Royal Sunset Lily, is just about done. I have one good flower left on that. It was really pretty while it lasted. Unfortunately, I was away for most of its peak bloom time. And then bringing you down here is my flax that has been eaten. And this row of raspberry ripple zinnias is really doing well and taking off. I can see a little bud coming on this one. The rabbits have completely left them alone. Such a great zinnia if you struggle with rabbits like I do. This is a status that is fading, but it had this real pretty almost blue, purple bloom. It was super pretty. Got that for Mother's Day at my church. And something's going on with my herb pot. I'm not quite sure what. It looks like my sage is starting to die for some reason. Hi, Rosie. She's jumping on my back here. And then something happened to my oregano as well right there. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. And I put in this tiny little gomphrena down here that is kind of struggling to take off. I covered it for the rabbits. I have some beautiful daisies starting to bloom. And my black-eyed Susans probably will not be far behind. I see some buds starting to form right there. I'm still looking for my coneflower, my powwow pink coneflower. And so this elephant ear took a pretty big hit from not getting watered. I need to come in and trim up the dead foliage on that, but it is putting out new growth. You can see right there, it has a brand new leaf that it's putting out. This is the Redemption elephant ear that I am super excited about. I mentioned in my last garden tour, it is rated down to zone 7. So I can hopefully overwinter that in the ground. That would be amazing. What are you doing? Where are you at? She keeps jumping on my back. It's hilarious. Such a cutie. Yeah. All right, Rosie is still jumping on me. Here I have a lady's mantle that I added this year, a catmint that I need to move further up because it's getting drowned in the daisies right there. And a beautiful orange blaze red hot poker nymphophea, which I just added this year and is not really blooming yet, but next year it should be really pretty. And let's see, I can swing you back around here and show you. There's a bloom that is on its way out, but it's just a brilliant orange color. So that'll really add a nice pop of color along here. Well, hello, it is me again. I did a whole garden tour yesterday. I left off, I think, somewhere along my main border here, and I realized that my microphone had fallen off somewhere in this area, so you literally couldn't hear me saying a word for most of the tour. So I am going to pick up where I left off, somewhere right along here. I think I was showing you my Rose of Sharon, so let's just get right back into it. All right, I believe I was trying to show you my Rose of Sharon that are actually starting to bloom. I'm gonna try to reach you up high to show you the blooms. That is so cool because last year I really think that they didn't bloom until sometime in mid-July. At least July. I can see some buds coming there. So I am super excited about that. These always put on such a good show. I love these Rose of Sharon. They stay on the more narrow side, about 3 to 4 feet wide. We keep them trimmed a little bit, and then around 10 to 15 feet tall. So they really just make the most perfect, beautiful hedge for this really narrow space in our yard. I think I already showed you my elephant ear that needs cut back. It had suffered some damage while I was gone, and showed you the progress of my daisies and my black-eyed Susans. I talked about the coneflowers, the powwow coneflowers that I'm looking for to add into this border, and I believe I might have shown you my Mystic Illusion dahlia that is starting to bud up, put on a real nice show. I really love how it contrasts with this Helen von Stein lamb's ear. That dark foliage against that kind of silvery gray foliage, I think is so pretty. And then I did see some buds starting to form on my little lime hydrangea, which I also feel like is a little bit early, but I will take it. And this one is also looking a bit chlorotic, you can see down here. So I have to see if I have any of that Espuma iron tone to add to this as well. There's Rosie. Having a good time in the dry grass. And then I've got a really pretty bloom coming on this Mystic Illusion Dahlia. This is the one that got left in the ground, so it is blooming earlier. And I see that the rabbits have really been after that one, sadly. I have to keep spraying that. And I do have a powwow coneflower here that is not looking the greatest. It's really, I don't know, it's losing a lot of petals and just not, it's like, I don't know if you can see, it's really looking shriveled, along with my black-eyed Susan. For some reason in the middle here, this one and the one on the other side, they do this, and I'm not sure if they're competing from the roots of the Rose of Sharon behind it or what is going on, because the ones on the end seem fine, but these are just kind of shriveling. Same with this powwow pink coneflower. So I'm not sure what to do about that except to give it more water. But this is one of my favorite areas of my yard. This little corner right here with the wee white hydrangeas and the Twombly's red sentinel Japanese maple and my caramel heuchera down there. Even the elephant ear and the daisies just make for such a pretty vignette right there. This is a better picture of my elephant ear. It looks a lot better than the one on the other side. It is getting that dark pink striping down the center. It intensifies as it gets hotter and hotter. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And more of my red hot poker that is not blooming next year should be a better show for that. And I can't remember if I told you that I had cut back my catmint. I have cat's pajamas, catmint, nepeta all along the border, and it's starting to try to put out a second flush. So we'll see how that goes. I had added some gumfarina under those cloches that is very slowly taking off. I do have some more growing on my deck that I may add into this area. And then more daisies. My wee whites are really looking good. I'm so happy that they are doing so well. And my foxglove are probably about ready to be cut back. I was just leaving them in the ground to, well, I'm not going to dig them out. I'm just going to cut them down, but hoping that they would kind of self-seed, reseed for next year. And the heuchera is really doing well there also. So very, very happy with this corner. Here I may come in and do some direct sowing of zinnias right underneath the bench. Let's see what I can get out of that. I know I'm pretty late in the season, but everything just got pushed back with my injury, and I'm just on my own time this year, I guess. So I may just throw some seed down to see if I can get some zinnias for later in the summer. That is how things are looking right now. We really need some good rain to green up this grass again, but that's just kind of how it goes here in the summertime. It just happens every year. So I am just gonna spin you around and we're gonna just take a walk down this way. Over here is where I have some of my plant stash that I've been growing. I have some more cosmos growing right here that I can add into places. A little tiny dill plant, some Magellan zinnia and some sunflowers. And then these are still winter sown jugs with some Swiss chard and purple basil, some more gomfrina that really has not been taken off, and some cilantro. And then this is all of my purple hyacinth bean vine that I've grown that I need to add, that I need to get in the ground. Really looking good. And some at one Rosie and geranium right there that I have to find a spot for. The rabbits had eaten that completely to the ground and it grew back. So that really made me happy. This space down here is more of my shady border that gets a lot of shade early in the morning, and then really starting after 11 it gets mostly shade. So it's about 8:30 I think in the morning right now, so it is getting quite a bit of morning sun, which I think those Annabelle hydrangeas really enjoy. And then I had put these hosta in. If you are new here, I put these in from my front porch. I divided some really large hosta and ended up with a ton of plants to move around my yard. And this camellia is an April remembered camellia that is doing wonderfully. It has put on so much growth since I put that in the ground. I'm so happy that's doing good because I lost 5 camellia. I think that was last year. They did not survive over down in the corner by my serviceberry. So that is great. And this whole river of impatiens that really will start to fill out nicely. They've already put on a lot of blooms and growth. My kids did that for me. They did a lot of this planting for me. And I have these 2 clematis. These are pink mint clematis, one right there and then a bigger one down there. That one is growing much better because it gets more sun. So I may have to rethink what I put on these obelisks, something that will do good in sun or shade. What are you doing, Rosie? You're so silly. Right behind Rosie are my Annabelle hydrangeas that are doing so well. They look beautiful, huge bloom heads, and they just, like when we come out here at nighttime, they just glow. They're so pretty. Really love them, and they are doing well. They tend to do really well here. I believe that's from the river birch trees overhead. They kind of protect them from the really heavy rains. So they don't seem to flop terribly. We had a really heavy quick rainstorm come through a couple days ago, and they seemed to fare pretty well. So I think that they really help to protect them. So that's an idea, to plant them under some big trees just to help with the flopping. Can you see my neighbor's beautiful blue hydrangea in the background there? It is so beautiful. I love looking at that every year. It's another great example of a borrowed view. And they're beautiful Japanese maple too. So pretty. Show you this clematis real quick. I did not get to string this obelisk because of my hand, so it's just kind of draping all over, but it has put on blooms for the season. I may end up moving this out front, maybe to the mailbox if I figure out something different to put on these, but we'll see. And then this is really where I stick all of my hostas, and I have some Brilliance Autumn Ferns down there that the rabbits love. Some heuchera, wildberry heuchera under the cloches, but I'm trying to protect some more divided hosta from my front porch area, and a serviceberry that is sadly suffering. I think it has apple cedar rust, and it looks more like fall than summertime. So you can see all of these orange leaves, and the berries that were supposed to be berries have this like spiky growth on them. That is usually a sign of cedar apple rust. So I'm gonna kind of leave it alone for now, but we could come in and spray it, or just kind of see how it does for the season and next year. And I've showed these many times if you've seen my videos, but if you're new here, this is Autumn Brilliance Fern, or Brilliance Autumn Fern, and a wee hosta. I have an elegance hosta that has gotten super large, and a blue halcyon tucked back in there, and I planted a row of sweet talker viburnum all along the edge of the fence to kind of create this corner hedge back here. And this is a Casablanca lily that I'm going to move, but just gonna let it bloom for right now. And tucked way back in there behind the serviceberry is a Woo La La hosta. It's a Proven Winners variety. It has gotten enormous, super beautiful, has really pretty variegated foliage. Get up closer. Huge leaves, just beautiful hosta. Rosie saw a fly. And this what is this? Wiggles and Squiggles hosta needs to get into the ground. All right, I'm gonna take you right down here and just flip you around and show you the progress of some of the things that I planted a couple weeks ago. I have to bring you outside of my gate to show you the gorgeous, incredible hydrangea right there. There's another one here that's not nearly as big, but this one is doing so well and so beautiful. I have it underplanted with these Sun Patience. These are the red candy variety of Sun Patience, doing super well. And I'm going to take you inside to show you some of those seedlings that I put in the ground. So over on this side is where we have these sweet talker viburnum that I showed you in the corner over there. They will get this big. These get about 10 feet tall, 3 to 4 feet wide. So we're going to keep them trimmed into a hedge. And to add some summer color, I put in this mixed border of annuals that is filled with zinnias and marigolds. I put in some cosmos that I believe the rabbits got, so I'm going to have to add more of those. And there's a little bit of ageratum that was very slow to grow from seed, so I don't know. It would be interesting to see if I get flowers from that this year or not. So just kind of an experiment. I'm looking forward to all of the color that hopefully will fill up this little bed here. And I'll show you right down there. I put in some delphinium and some sunflowers. All right down here is where I added some delphinium. I actually had this one delphinium from last year, and it's starting to put on some blooms. I don't know. Let's see if I can figure out. Oh, it does look like it might be blue. Ooh, pretty. Oh, I can't wait to see that bloom. And then I added in these two that I grew from seed. These are a mid blue delphinium, so just a very vibrant blue. And some Soraya sunflowers back in there that are a branching variety, and just that classic yellow with the brown center. So hopefully those take off for me. Just swinging you around into our holly bed. These are Dragon Lady hollies. We have a mixture of things. It's a work in progress, but I put in this Sensation honeysuckle that is, it's new, so it's not filling out this obelisk quite yet, but I think that'll be a really pretty addition. And then I have another Oh So Easy red rose. I have those on the other side of my house as well. And I had propagated this sedum. This is the Autumn Joy sedum from some mother plants over by my AC unit. They're surviving. That one is not looking the best, I'm not sure what's going on with that one in the middle there. Has some yellowing on the stems. And then just kind of a mixture. I just threw in some alyssum that I grew from seed and some lavender, and I have some coneflower in there from last year that will get moved. Just kind of a holding bed, I guess you could say, as I figure things out. I move very slowly. I work on a limited budget and just kind of figure things out as I go along. It's definitely a marathon and not a sprint, this whole gardening thing. And up here, this is my perennial geranium that is filling out the space so nicely. It's looking like something happened there. It's really browning out. I'm not sure quite what's going on with that, but I'll have to clean that up. And then I did add in these creeping thyme that seem to be doing well along this flagstone pathway. My hope is that I can add ground covers in this area that really fill out this whole space so that we don't have to deal with the mulch. And right in front of my hose link here is a Winecraft black smoke bush. This stays on the smaller side, but my plan is to keep it trimmed into a nice hedge right here in front of my hose link. So we shall see how that goes. That's kind of an experiment. But I am going to take you around front and just show you real quick some of the things that are looking beautiful out there too. I'm just gonna flip you around past our loropetalum and Weigela messy hose. Our other loropetalum. We have some more anemone, some more not sweet talker, fall in love sweetly anemone in front there that blooms in the fall. And then these are more incredible hydrangeas that I think I'm going to use for my front porch. I think I might move these to the front and see how they do. They're gonna kind of be a little too awkward for this little space right here, especially as this gets a little bit bigger. And then we do have a drain. I don't know if you can see the tubing right there coming out of the mulch. So I have to plant kind of oddly because of that drain tube. So I don't know, that is my idea for right now. And this is a beautiful Jane Magnolia that my husband and I came in and we actually limbed up, meaning we cut a lot of these lower branches at the bottom here to really expose the trunk. I think it almost gives it a crepe myrtle vibe with the multi-branching structure right there. I like it so much better. It was really starting to look like a bush. So that just really, I think, cleaned it up nicely. These are more hosta that we moved from the front that are doing pretty well, and some heuchera that are getting eaten. My garden is very imperfect, and I'm not afraid to show you all of the imperfections. There's lots of weeds because I just can't get out to do what I had been doing with two hands. So I'm just embracing it. But these are some Neandina. That is what I'm thinking of replacing with the hydrangea. I placed this boxwood hedge. These are wintergreen boxwood that will grow nice into nice round balls. That's my plan, to keep them shaped like that. And you can see my sun patience are finally starting to take off a little bit. They will eventually fill out this entire front here. They will touch and just be a beautiful mass of color right here in the front. And I really want to update you on this container because it is looking gorgeous right now. Ignore the liriope that I planted here that the rabbits are also eating down to the nub. Really battling the rabbits, and my boxwood back there that needs trimmed very badly. But this is doing amazing. I put in this pink geranium, these purple, I think this was grape punch, super bells maybe. and an angel wing that is looking fantastic, and lemon coral sedum. I think that this is super, super beautiful and doing really nicely. I'm very, very happy with this container. I'm gonna bring you on a little walk over here to the other side. I have another container that I did with you, gosh, a month or two ago. I potted up my overwintered geraniums in paper bags, and look at them now. They were dead looking sticks, and now they are turning into beautiful flowers. Super gorgeous. I have a creeping Jenny tucked in right back there, and a spike in the middle, and then I put in this purple heart vine that I believe the rabbits have also gotten, otherwise it would be a lot bigger. There's some ageratum tucked in there, and some diamond frost euphorbia. So very, very pleased with this container also. I think it looks really, really pretty. And right next to it, I have a rutabaga blooming. Isn't that pretty? Put that in last year. Came back a little smaller than I thought, but ooh, I just love that orange color. I would love to be able to get more and really fill out this area here in front of my glow blue. This is a dwarf glow blue spruce right here. And you will notice that my roses are done with their first flush of blooms. They will rebloom. Last year I did go in and I deadheaded all of the roses, which is not necessary, but definitely helps to make them look a little more tidy. But this year I'm not going to be able to do that. So I'm just going to let them go, I think, and see how they do, just see how they look. My Jolly Good Clematis is still putting on a little bit of a show. This was put in last year, so not super prolific yet, but still very, very beautiful. And then I don't think I showed you that I moved these begonia. They were around my front tree. I actually put some sun patience around my front tree now. I didn't love the way that these looked with my other sun patience in the background, but I do really like them over here. These are the Surefire Rose Begonia. It's a proven winners plant. They are starting to put on some nice growth, and I think that they will fill out this little space real nicely on this side of the walkway. I have some sweet flag, Ogon, I think, grass right there that is struggling a bit. I put that in last fall. And then another incredible hydrangea. Now this I may move over to my front porch as well, and either put another one in here or put some other variety of hydrangea in here. And these are some more boxwood right here. This is the same variety that I have over in my hedge, over in front of my obelisk. Right behind my roses, on the other side of my roses, I have these beautiful, amazing daisies. These are called Daisy May Daisy by Proven Winners. They are so beautiful. They are flopping over a little bit, so they probably could use some extra support in the front there, but they are just looking at their peak right now. I can try to deadhead these to try to get some repeat blooms throughout the season. I'll probably get some, but maybe not this prolific, but just so beautiful. And then here's our hose link that we put in to make it easy for me with my hand. And we just have 2 rhododendrons on either side of our AC unit, and some autumn joy sedum that is looking really nice right now. I had to cut myself off because an ambulance went by and was very loud, but I was showing you my sedum and rhododendron. I added some raspberry ripple zinnia right down in the front here. and this gorgeous dahlia. This is a Thomas Edison dahlia that is doing amazing. It is so big and beautiful. I cannot wait to see that bloom. I will need to come in and probably stake that soon, along with a lot of other things. I've got to kind of get on that. And now we're full circle. And that is my whole garden, basically. I hope that you enjoyed walking around my yard with me. I probably will end up doing these almost every week, just because they are easy for me to do with my hand, and I'm just not doing a whole lot of actual gardening. I'm putting things in here and there, but it is really hard to film those videos with my one hand. So I'm gonna keep trying to come up with different video ideas that I can manage. But I thank you guys so much for sticking with me during this season of my life. I don't know how long this is going to last, but it might be for a little while. So thank you so much for supporting me and sticking with me. I have to run. I have some appointments, some kids to take to appointments, and a dog to take care of. I hope that you also enjoyed meeting Rosie, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Have a great week. Bye.